beautiful soul. Welcome to the Quantum Business Queen podcast. This podcast is a vortex for activating wealth, riches, and boss bitches. It is here that I teach multi-dimensional business. Our content will fall under 3 different categories: 5D quantum creation, 4D frequency alchemy, and the most potent 3D strategy. Every aspect of business that contributes to the creation of success is covered here. Plus, I will be personally interviewing the most amazing boss bitches that are at the forefront of the game, paving the way for money, magic, and magnetism in business. Let's get ready to activate all of that within you. Hello, amazing human. Welcome to this episode of the Quantum Business Queen podcast. Today, we're going to talk about quantum leaping. It's such a buzzword, and I feel like everyone's throwing it around at the moment. A lot of people who talk about it, to be honest, let's be real, don't even know what they're on about. They don't know what it is. And you really need to think about this. Like, I really want you to have an independent mind when you delve into what quantum leaping is. Is it actually the best thing for you, or is it not? You think about when you say you want a quantum leap, it's like you also want to bypass a lot of your life. You want to bypass the lessons. You want to bypass the coding. You just want to be in that timeline where it's all there and it's all happened for you. But is that saying to the universe that you don't want to go through the coding that it takes in order for you to be that version of yourself? Like, you really have to think about it. What is quantum leaping? Is it actually in your best interest to quantum leap? Or do you want to become a well-rounded human who has been on the hero's journey? You know, if you're on the hero's journey, it means that you've been through the trenches. You've dug yourself out of the holes. You know what it takes to come out the other side. And quantum leaping, in a way, can bypass all of that. So I want to talk about that today. I want you guys, when you hear people talking about how to quantum leap, how to do this, how to do that, like, is it the best way for you to stand in your sovereignty as a freaking powerful leader? Do you want leaders who have quantum leapt? Or do you want leaders who have been through the trenches, who have been on the hero's journey, who knows what it's like to be in fear and scarcity and have come out the other side? So I want you guys to start questioning these things. I have experienced both. I have experienced where my life has felt like it's changed overnight. So much shifted and so much came in and synchronicity started happening. And it was like, whoa, I was on this whirlwind of change. And yes, it's cool. And it's especially cool to plug it in marketing. But I've also experienced the depths of despair. I've experienced scarcity. I've experienced all of the things you go through as an entrepreneur, all of what it takes to really understand and be relatable to the human experience. And for me, being in the trenches, being in the depths of despair, experiencing scarcity, and being able to dig my way out of it is what makes me a really freaking powerful leader. Because there's nothing more powerful than me being able to say to a client, I have been there. I know exactly what you need to do in order to get yourself out of this. When you can relate to a human on that level, that creates such depth in your connection. But when you quantum leap, you bypass all of that. It's like you're one person one day and then you're somewhere else and somebody else the next day, and you're not even sure how you got there. So I'm not saying one is wrong and the other is right, but I'm just asking you to think about what it means to quantum leap. And if we want to look at what my definition of quantum leaping is, it is exactly that. It is like your life feels like one thing one day, and then the next day everything seems to shift, and it seems to shift very quickly to the point where it's like you do not even know how all of this is happening for you so quickly. And in my opinion, it actually takes you being on the hero's journey, you being able to navigate density and scarcity and worry and all of the things in order to be able to quantum leap. So maybe in all actuality, you're not bypassing after all. However, I want you guys to think about what it means to quantum leap and what you're actually sacrificing in order to do so. I think the one place where quantum leaping can be dangerous is where you get stuck in what I refer to as the results slave template. So this is where you forego the journey because you want the result. You know, the majority of humanity is stuck in the results slave template. And what does that mean? It means you will stop at nothing to get a result. Literally, you will enslave yourself for a result. And you look at corporations, you look at sales teams, you look at athletes, you look at the way businesses are built. They are all built on the results slave template. It means you will bypass your whole life. You will make yourself miserable. You will do whatever it takes just to get the result. And you know, I liken this to like Olympic athletes, and I have the utmost respect for their achievements and how they can push through thresholds and, you know, do amazing things and tap into potential beyond what humans thought were possible. I love that. However, they will enslave themselves to get there. They will enslave themselves to get a result. They will compete on a broken vertebrae just to get the result. And what is that saying to humanity? It is saying that it is more important to be a slave. It is more important to bypass the journey. It is more important to keep our eye on the prize than it is to live. I want you to let that sink in. People stop at nothing for a result. It's the means to an end, except there is no end. What happens when you win the gold medal and you realize you've just spent the past 4 years enslaving yourself, losing your friendships, losing your family, losing connection to your body, losing connection to joy just to get that gold medal, and you achieve that, and then what? There is no end. There's just more life. And so I want you guys to be careful when you think about quantum leaping, because ultimately you're doing that to be in a result. And are you saying to the universe that you're willing to forego the journey just to be in that result? You got to be careful with that. If you are wishing and hoping and seeking out leaders who preach about quantum leaping, firstly, have they even done it themselves? Like, the majority of them are just using it because it's fancy marketing. But secondly, are they actually promoting a slave template unknowingly? Because they want you to just end up in the result with, and then bypassing the whole freaking delicious journey. So think about this for a second. Think about what it is you want. Think about why you want to quantum leap. And when you look at why you want to quantum leap, you're going to uncover some really potent truths about why you're unhappy in your current reality. And the quickest way to quantum leap is not wanting to quantum leap at all. Truly, that's the irony in all of this. Because when you truly become happy, when you truly love every aspect of your life, when you are truly grateful and in the moment, that is where, ironically enough, everything shifts and the quantum leaps start to happen. So if you are desperately seeking to quantum leap into a new reality of this and that, or make more money overnight or whatever, you got to look at why you're so desperately unhappy and why you're so desperately wanting to escape the reality you're in now by way of quantum leaping. That's the first step. And you have to remember that you might be perpetuating the exact slave templating that is keeping all of humanity stuck in this matrix system of doing whatever it takes to get the money, doing whatever it takes to get the result, doing whatever it takes to get the bonus or whatever, and bypassing the deliciousness in every day-to-day life. So number one, look at why is it that I'm so desperate to quantum leap, to hop out of where I am now so I could be somewhere else that just is not here. So what you're actually doing unknowingly is you're resisting what is. You're saying, I don't like this. I want to be somewhere else. I'm not grateful. This is too uncomfortable. Get me out of here. I want to quantum leap into somewhere else. When you are energetically resisting what is, you actually keep perpetuating it. So the more you want to quantum leap, the less it's going to happen for you, because you're saying you're not happy. You're resisting what is. You're perpetuating the same energy and you're so desperate to escape it. The desperation can become so intense that you actually build a cage around yourself. So like I said, the irony of all of this is the more you want to quantum leap, the less you're going to be able to, the more you're going to keep yourself stuck in your cage. We interrupt this awesome podcast episode to tell you about my life-changing Quantum Business Academy. If you are ready to take your business to the next levels of abundance and freedom, then you're definitely going to want to hear more. Please don't take my word for it though. Here is one of our alumni sharing their experience.
My time in the QBA was incredibly expansive, very rich and rewarding, and I can't thank Sarah Tynan enough for her wonderful guidance, support and belief, and sometimes when I didn't have that belief in myself, and the wonderful people in the group. It was really life-changing and a very rewarding experience. So yeah, just expansive and big and bold and brave. It was wonderful.
If you want to know more, then please head over to my show notes, book a call with me, or you can message me in DMs. Now let's get back to the podcast. So the second you start releasing and resisting what is, this is where you start accessing more flow. Instead of perpetuating and continuously reactivating those dense frequencies of resistance and not liking what is, the more you surrender to that, the quicker it will pass through. And funnily enough, the sooner you'll be able to step into a new timeline. So number one is you got to look at why you want to release yourself from the reality you're in and surrender to it. Surrender to it and stop giving it meaning. The more you give things dense meanings, the more, again, you perpetuate those frequencies and you'll never be able to quantum leap because those meanings are the anchor that keep you weighted down in your current reality. So when you stop wishing things would be different, when you stopped looking sideways at people and hoping that their life can one day become yours, when you start looking at all of the goodness around you, this is where things shift. I always say this to my clients. I had a client come to me once and she was like, Sarah, I don't know how all this is happening. My business is booked out. I have to hire new practitioners. Like, this is all just going so well. Like, I'm not, it's not like I even wanted this. It's like, she literally said, I want for nothing. And I stopped her and I said, this is why this is all happening for you. When you want for nothing, you become magnetic to everything because you are sitting in a frequency of completeness. You don't desire to quantum leap because you're so freaking happy with everything that is. But ironically, that is the moment when you do quantum leap because the universe sees your frequency as pure allowing and pure flow. This is where you get to access new layers of potential within yourself when you stop poking at all the things that are wrong with you and start being in sheer gratitude for what is. And I always say that, in order to do this, and I know we all experience density. I know there's contrast in everybody's reality, but there's also guaranteed things to be grateful for. And if you don't choose to see that, you are going to continuously choose stuckness. You're going to continuously choose to be weighted and anchored down. It is always a choice. And you have to always be able to choose past your current reality. If you go back to episode, I think it's either 1 or 0, where I tell my story of how I was failing in corporate, like I thought I was going to be fired and deported from Australia and sent back to America. I had to choose beyond that. I had to choose to see my reality as a success when I was a diminishing failure. I had to choose beyond physicality, and it was a deliberate choice and a deliberate re-choosing every single day until my reality, what seemed to have flipped itself on its head, and I quantum leapt, quote unquote, into a timeline of success where I started being flown all over Australia to be awarded for all these awards when, just a few months before I was literally thinking I was going to be fired. So it wasn't until I accepted everything that was and chose beyond my current reality did my life start to change. But I went on the hero's journey. I was coded. When I accepted everything that was and stopped making it mean that I was going to be fired or woe is me or I am such a failure, when I released all the meanings and chose to see beyond it and chose gratitude instead, my life changed. And when my life changed, I didn't want to quantum leap because I was being flown to all these tropical places. I was being awarded all these cool awards. I was being promoted. Like, who needed to quantum leap when all of this goodness was happening? But more goodness kept coming because I wanted for nothing in those states. So you really have to look at, why is it when people are talking about quantum leaping, why is it that you feel so desperate to figure out how for yourself? And when you uncover that and you release that, it is then and only then will things start to change for you. And it is so, so powerful, to the point where you don't even care if it does or doesn't, because life is so delicious. And this is how you fast track yourself to experiencing more abundance, more freedom, more impact, more service. However, if you're feeling stuck now, if you're feeling the density now, if you're feeling the worry now, I don't want to diminish what you're going through, but do know it is a choice. And I always say, and I think again, go back to episode 0 or 1, if you're not deliberately choosing something different, you're deliberately choosing to be stuck in sameness. And sometimes it takes you walking through your reality in the shoes of somebody who has absolutely nothing. That is such a powerful abundance meditation, by the way. And I want you to do that. If you're feeling the stuckness, if you're feeling the hopelessness, or like there's no way out, put yourself literally in the shoes of somebody who has nothing. Arrive at your front door through the shoes of somebody who has nothing. See your house through the eyes of somebody who doesn't have a home. Look at your call list through the eyes of somebody who is ever so alone on this planet. Open your refrigerator. Look at the food in the body of somebody who has not eaten for days. Take a shower and feel the water on your skin in the body of somebody who does not have access to clean water, showers, etc., etc. You will realize that you are fucking lucky, and you will start to tap into abundance through this newly activated gratitude. It is always a choice, my friends. You always get to choose. Always. And you release the density, release all the weighted meanings, release all of the complaints and all of the this and the that's and whatevers, and start to see your reality through the eyes of abundance. This is where things will start to shift. But it's your choice. You can continue to see your reality through the eyes of comparison or frustration or whatever, or you get to choose beyond that. You get to choose beyond your meaning. You get to choose beyond your current situations. You get to choose beyond existing today in your physicality. And this is where things get to change. So it's all in your hands, my beautiful friends. If you're wanting to quantum leap, work out why, uncover all of that, release the meanings, release the justification hooks, release all of it, and choose to be grateful. Walk through your reality, through the shoes, through the eyes, through the body of somebody who literally has nothing, and realize that you have the world in your fingertips. Truly you do. You just have to choose to see it that way. You just have to choose beyond your limitations. You just have to lean in and be ever so divinely brave, because experiencing something new, no matter how dense your current reality is fucking scary. So it's up to you. It's up to you. But ultimately, if you're craving something different, you got to uncover why. If you're trying to escape what is now currently your existence, you got to look at what's underneath that. If you're buying into the marketing ploy of quantum leaping, you got to question all of this and with your own independent mind, and do your own internal work, knowing that nothing will shift until you choose to let all that go and unhook yourself from your own weighted anchors that you are choosing to carry with you. So that is it from me today. I love you, and I'd love to hear what you think of this episode. I'd love to hear of your own experiences with quantum leaping and now maybe your new perspectives. I share all of this with you with such divine love for you in my heart, knowing that you are such a freaking powerful being and that you get to choose your reality, but you got to choose to let the weights go first. Thank you so much for listening to this episode, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much for listening today, beautiful soul. I hope you got so much gold and were activated in such a way that you could step into your highest timeline of abundance and freedom, because it is more than possible for you. If that desire has been planted in your soul, it is so deliberate. If you wouldn't mind, please rate, review, subscribe to this podcast so that we can get this message into the hearts and ears of more amazing light beings across the world. I would love to continue this conversation with you, so feel free to get in touch on Instagram at sarah.tynan.quantumcoach. If you're a Facebook person, you can find me on Facebook at facebook.com/Sarah Tynan International. And please don't ever forget, if your desire is there, it's because your destiny is there too. You just have to remember who you are. Bye for now, beautiful.